Welcome everyone to Clutch Chess Champion Showdown Day 2. Magnus Carlsen beat Gukesh 2-0 on the second day, but in the first game against Caruana, he lost his way. Now this is the second game. You can see Magnus has just had a quick snack and is back on the board. 10 minutes plus 5 seconds increment, and as we all are aware, on the second day, the stakes rise in clutch chess. 2 points for every win. Magnus gets ready as he sits down a bit early than his opponent, which is rare to tell you the truth. He starts looking at the pieces. He's like, okay, these look a bit different, bit weird. By the way, St. Louis has its own kind of chess set which they have created, which they use in Sinkfield Cup, in St. Louis Rapid and Blitz, and all these events that are happening. And these are the same set of pieces that are being used here. Fabiano Caruana enters in a handshake here, and what a great pair we have on our screen. They have been world number 1 and 2 for years, and now they played the world championship match back in 2018. It's so amazing to see them still fighting at the highest level in chess, two of the best players in the world. What is Magnus going to play with the white pieces? Will he open with e4? Will he go into the theoretical battle with Fabiano Caruana? Only time will tell. A handshake. And this, dear friends, is Duolingo recap of the round. Duolingo is an app that is known for learning languages. But did you know it now has chess? You can download the app and kickstart your journey at getting better at the game. Pawn to d4 by Magnus. d5 responded by Caruana. Knight comes out to f3. And now Fabi thinking a bit what to do. Well, knight f6 seems like a normal move to continue. He brings his knight out and pawn to c4. The queen's gambit, and Fabi accepts it. Queen's gambit accepted. e3 is the normal move to pick up the pawn on c4. But Magnus pauses and plays queen a4 check. Interesting. He is trying to play something offbeat to throw Fabi out of his prep. Knight bd7. It's clear that Fabi is the better prepared player of the two. Magnus brings his knight out to c3. Maybe this is the line that Fabi is not so well prepared. But Magnus himself taking time in the opening. And a6 preparing for the move b5. If you take here, queen takes c4 is met with b5 here, followed by bishop b7. Bishop comes to f4. So that after queen takes c4, you are attacking the pawn on c7. Now Fabi, once again thinking a bit, goes, he's touching the e-pawn, e6 after close to 1.5 minutes. If queen takes c4, you have c5, and black is already doing excellently in the position. So e6, e4 played by Magnus. A good move. And look at Caruana's time, 7 minutes 26 seconds. Magnus has 6 minutes 11 seconds. And Fabi thinks and thinks here. He's like, should I go b5 or not? Goes for it. With 3 minutes 16 seconds only, gives up the rook. Bishop b4 check, and now important for Magnus to block with the bishop or the knight here. Magnus takes his time and, just bd2, but he goes king e2, which is a mistake. It's a big mistake. The king is unsafe here. In fact, black can castle and has enough compensation in this position. This is not a good idea. He should have played bishop d2, and something on these lines could have ended in a draw there. But king e2 is very risky. Very risky. In fact, Fabiano is thinking hard. He can see here if the queen gets, it's a mate. He pushes his pawn to e5. What a beautiful move. What a beautiful move this is. Notice if the bishop lands here with a check, you lose the queen. Takes on e5. And now this is a mate. Knight e5. What a move. Bishop e5, queen d3 mate. If knight e5, bishop g4 check and winning the queen. Whew. Amazing tactics. Magnus goes rook d1. But now there is knight jumping into d3. That's the point. He goes for a check. Bishop d7, takes on c7, defending his bishop here. That would fall with a check. And now the best move is queen a8. Can Caruana find it? Not at all easy. Not easy at all. Finds it. Phew, what a move. Queen b8 check. And you can take here, and play knight b2. But you also have king e7 attacking the queen. Man, Caruana is like a machine, finding one good move after another. Queen takes, queen taken. He takes first knight f4 check. King has to come up. And now takes the queen. White king is bit exposed on f4. I don't think it can get mated there, but still it is in danger. King takes f4 and rook takes a2. Boom! The b2 pawn is now under pressure. Well, Magnus in big trouble. 1 minute 12 seconds. Caruana has 1 minute 26 seconds. He adjusts the king e5. Might be the best move here. Notice that g5 check followed by knight e4 can happen. He goes rook b1. This is too passive. Can Fabi play g5 here? He's actually hunting the king. He is hunting the king here. g5 check is the best move. Will he find it? I mean, there are other good moves. h6, preparing g5. Bishop c5, hitting the underbelly of white's position. And notice these two pawns. You can create a quick passer here. And Caruana, so relaxed, so calm. Plays g5 with 46 seconds. Magnus down to 18 seconds here. Well, if you play king e3, there is bishop c5 check followed by ticking this. So it takes knight e4, king f4. And now, yes, chopping off the f2 pawn, rook g1. Whew, this is almost checkmate. Bishop d6 check. Does that work? And he goes for a check. King must come back. Oh, that's too risky. He goes up the board to g5. And now knight e4 check. Smoke the king out. But it's already on the outside. King here. And now notice this rook a6 with the idea of bishop g3, h3, rook h6, checkmate. Because the bishop and knight control this. Nobody misses it. He attacks the rook here. He should have played this idea with bishop g3 check. Was beautiful actually. And now bishop f5. Black is still completely in the driver's seat. White's position is so discoordinated. He just can't understand what's going on. What is each piece doing? Magnus trying his hardest to pose problems. He goes g4. Bishop goes back to e6. Maybe bg6 was also a good move. And now bishop comes out to h3, connecting the rooks step by step. Magnus hoping for some sort of a comeback here. And for now, if you go check here, king can move up to h5 perhaps. So he goes b4, another trump card for black. Rook f1, Magnus gets his rook into the game. b3, now this is fixed. The pawns are dangerous. g5, but now there is bishop f2 check. If the king moves, the bishop is hanging on h3. He gives it. Magnus has to give back the exchange. It's totally winning now for Fabiano. He's a clear pawner, but more importantly, look at his pawns and the active rook. He comes back, bishop f1, and now knight e4. He goes king d6, king g3 played. And now knight e4 check, king f4. Somehow white is fighting. White is fighting hard. Fabi goes knight c5 with the idea of knight a4, but there's knight d4 here. No, he brings the king in, knight a4, and look at Magnus. He's so upset at missing this idea that knight is coming to a4, and he could have played knight d4 there. Knight takes b2, and this is something Magnus does not expect of himself. He is unhappy and angry. King e7, he doesn't emote much during the games often, but here he is, h4. f6 played by Caruana. And Magnus getting back knight e4 with the idea of knight c3 and winning the knight. That's actually possible. He has 30 seconds. Fabi down to 12. Knight e4. Now Fabi must remain very careful here. He takes, that's a blunder, knight c3, but Magnus in a sort of instant reaction, captures back. Bishop f5 check. Rook e1. There's no check. No, he takes here. Rook takes check. The game is now equal. Oh my goodness, what a comeback by Magnus, as he always does. Next move, bishop e2 to stop all knight movements. Bishop e2, king c3. This should be something that can be holdable, but he blunders with king c3. A huge mistake. Knight d1 check. You have no time to take here because of rook a4 and b2. What a big miss by Magnus Carlsen there. He goes here and king b4. But now rook c2 played with the idea of b2 coming up, and it is utterly lost. He comes back, rook e1, and Caruana, who has just few seconds left, goes knight b2. Look at this, the bishop moves away, knight d3 check is a fork, so be careful here. Okay, the position is lost. He goes bishop h3, knight d3 check, and loses the rook. Oh my goodness, Magnus Carlsen loses. What a battle this was between Caruana and Magnus. Heart-thumping action till the very end, and amazing play by Fabi.
Hi everyone, I hope you enjoyed the game. I want to tell you about Duolingo. This app, I used it extensively to learn languages when I was young. But I'm so thrilled that it now has chess on it. If you are a beginner, there are beginners courses here. If you are an advanced player, you also have different kinds of checkmates, different types of tactics, opening ideas. So you can make use of all of this. And what is very exciting is the way in which it is being taught. Oscar teaches you, who is a fun-loving character and a tutor, and it will give you some hints. There are streaks which are created. There are daily tasks that you can achieve. There are rewards. You can play against Oscar, and there's also a leaderboard. By the way, I'm leading on the leaderboard. My ID is Sagar Chess 1. Let's see if you can challenge me and get ahead of me. Download the app Duolingo and start your chess journey, no matter what your level is. And let's get better at chess.